No, we're live. All right. Rock and roll. All right, guys, quick introduction. MLM attorney here with Troy Dooley. Troy and I haven't done this, I'm guessing 5 years. Time flies.
It does.
You keep getting younger. You're losing weight. You're looking great. And I've got my associate, Clay Brewer, here. And Clay's been working with me very closely for a couple of years, and he's been writing a lot of content and making a name for himself.
Hey, that's some good content too, Clay. You've really got great content going out there.
Appreciate it. We'll learn from the best, so it's fun.
He's motivated, and he's getting it done. I'm gonna do a quick check here on the quality. Video quality, good. Okay, let's roll right into it. So it's wide open. We've collected some questions from the field. I want to start with something that's on my mind, and we don't have to spend too much time on it, but it is a little political related. There was a hearing this morning regarding censorship. I don't know if you guys saw that in the news with RFK. He was a witness as well as a few other people regarding censorship. I've been censored regarding content in the industry. And the example was I did a post critical of the FTC, of course, and the FTC, they lost in front of the Supreme Court unanimously, 9-0. So even the left-leaning justices didn't agree with the FTC's position on this issue. And the FTC's response was, well, they're siding with scammers. It's very unfortunate, meaning the Supreme Court justices are all idiots. And so I did some critical posts on the subject and got zero engagement. And using AI, Chat GPT, I'm kind of tinkering with it. I asked the question, so what is wrong with this post? And it says, well, the post is inflammatory and very likely to be minimized. What do you guys, Troy, what do you think of this? Because you've been very outspoken with your opinions for decades. And now, are you seeing sort of content regarding our industry pushed down by the algorithms? And what do you think about that?
Yeah, I can usually tell by the comments. If I've got few engagement comments, it's very easy for me to tell, okay, that one didn't make it out there, and it was for one reason or another. Like you, usually it's when I'm talking about regulators. If I'm just talking about companies or raising questions on companies, I don't have that problem. If I raise any question that has to do with an agency, it can be 3 letters or 4 letters, I notice that the comments get pushed, or there's very few comments, and I don't get the engagement, nor do people even see it. I mean, they don't talk about it. Usually I can at least get a share. Sometimes I won't get a lot of shares, but somebody has shared. And the only time I'll get shares on that's when I share it to one of my pages, but then I still don't get the engagement that I usually do. And that part's frustrating, because if you're going to have an intelligent discussion, then you need to make sure all sides are there, that people see what's there. We may get it wrong, but it needs to be out there. And it seems like the algorithms are saying, if it's government, we're not going to let it go out there, period.
Yeah, it's, I've admired you for years because you have courage to speak, and I've seen you get dinged publicly, and you learn in real time and respond. And the First Amendment is not for the easy speech. The Constitution was written during hard times and for hard times, and it's for the hard speech. And of course, there's obvious examples when it comes to, and we don't need to go down this rabbit hole, but when it comes to opinions on the COVID vaccine, or opinions on just as recently regarding a music video, whether it should be out there or not, because it condones physical response to protest, right? I'm referring to the Jason Aldean story from yesterday. Examples of really any kind of speech that criticizes the really, what's the safe way of putting this? Well, I'm going to speak freely here regarding the mainstream view, right? Any sort of speech that's contrary to what the entity or the administration or the regime wants, any sort of view that they view undesirable is pushed down. And that's really dangerous. And for me to experience that at my very small scale was startling, because this is the Supreme Court. Like this is the highest court, which has been labeled an extreme or far right Supreme Court. But even the liberal justices said the FTC was wrong, and that sort of speech was considered undesirable and it was minimized. And I just think, and then I'll get off this tangent. The regulation of the internet really came from this law in the 1994. I think it's section 230. And that was Web 1.0 before people could publish content. And now that people can publish content, we need algorithms to elevate certain content and push down certain content. And so these big tech companies are essentially moderating content. Well, the original law from 94, and again, I'll be really quick here. It says, as long as you don't moderate, you're not liable for the content. And I think what was in mind was blogs. You have a website. If you just let the content run, whatever ends up on your site, you're immune. You're not responsible as long as you're not moderating. Well, now these algorithms are moderating, and I think it's dangerous. I'm going to move on, but that seeing that the Kennedy hearing today and what he's having to go through as a presidential candidate, it's incredible place that we're in.
But I'll give you one that I put up, and it was during the last cycle, but all it was the front page of Time magazine, and I believe it was 1938, and it said "Man of the Year," and it was Adolf Hitler. And the only piece of content that I put up is sometimes we get leadership wrong. And it got, I mean, they literally took it, gave me a mark, said, look, this is one, it's inflammatory. Two, it's not accurate. And it's like, it's 100% accurate right off the website. So the algorithm, and this is, and I don't want to go down this path, we can do this different time. This is my problem with AI. AI doesn't know how to create generalized content. The algorithms don't know how to look at things with a critical eye. It's human fed based on a human agenda, whether the human realizes it or not, is what happens. So whatever they're feeding in, like you said, okay, it's going to be a liberal, it's going to be mainstream, it's going to be conservative, it doesn't matter what it is. The algorithms cannot differentiate between communication, a conversation, and what they deem because of a keyword. Oh, it's inflammatory. Oh, this is false. Oh, this is this. And that is a very, very dangerous track if they can't get a hold of that somehow.
Yeah, you're a student of history. When in history has the side that supports censorship been right historically?
No, we don't see that.
It's never happened. And that's one frustration I have with the network marketing critics is they tend to be really on the far left of the spectrum. There's like an allergy for capitalism. The message really irritates them that if you work hard, you can be successful in this business. They don't like that message. And so they tend to be the biggest supporters of censorship. They want network marketing leaders to be deplatformed. They want the FTC to basically just completely outlaw the sector, right? Having an intelligent conversation with critics, it's a waste of time because it's not about discerning good from bad companies at all. They don't want the space to exist, period. Exhibit A is Herbalife. I'm writing an article right now showing that if Herbalife truly was a pyramid scheme, then after the settlement in 2016, it would have collapsed. So they agree with the FTC going forward. We have to have 80% of our revenue has to be retail based. And then a distributor cannot be paid unless 60% of his or her organization was retail. That's massive. So if that's a pyramid scheme, if there's no real product value, which is the essence of a pyramid scheme, if there's a lack of value, it would have collapsed. And for 4 years leading up to that settlement, there was hundreds of articles by critics, guys like William Keep and Chris Irons and countless others saying, this is a pyramid scheme. This is a pyramid scheme. Look, 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 look. Herbalife says, hey, look, we'll prove the customers. Since 2016, their volume is up. So clearly, objectively, they weren't a pyramid scheme. And they're doing this while under what's called a court-appointed monitor. Somebody is looking at them, making sure they're not fudging the numbers. So they've proven they're not. No apologies, no retraction. The train just goes. And so that's why, in my opinion, you can't really take this community very seriously. They want the space gone, even when confronted with facts. They want to burn it all down.
Let me ask a question on that one, Kevin. Is that because there's very few of, and this may come out sounding egotistical, but there's very few of us who are willing to actually engage in intelligent conversation. We see the same thing on the MLM side, where people, they want to take a hard-nosed stand on something, and I'll look at the company or I'll look at the situation, and it's like, well, there's merit in what the critic's saying. We need to clean up some areas, but there's people that are just, they're blind to any type of change. They just want to run wild on this side too.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I've just been burned so many times touching that stove that I don't do it anymore. So I used to take pleasure in interacting like on Seeking Alpha, and so have you. What it does is it puts your neck out there, and the trolls, there's an army of trolls out there, like a herd of locusts, and they essentially, they just attack, personal attacks. I did one article about Ponzi schemes in crypto early, and all the OneCoin people just freaking lit me up. I had somebody make a comment about my wife saying she wasn't safe.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was really creepy. The guy was off. I actually did a live with him just to, he was like, come on my program, come on. And he kept threatening me. I'm like, fine, I'll come on and talk to him. Ponzi schemes are illegal. It's a pretty easy position to take.
Yep.
And it's dangerous. So to answer your question, personally, I'm intimidated. I hate to say it. And again, you have to assume that if they were amenable to a discussion about how can we make it better, that might be a worthwhile effort. But if they want to burn it down, it's a waste of time. Herbalife, again, is a perfect example. Here we can show that Bill Ackman was wrong, objectively show that, hey, the numbers here.
That's true.
And it's pointless.
That's
So
valid. I get you.
yeah.